Africa Initiative for Governance and the Nigeria Economic Summit Group partnered with Nigeria's Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to develop the Nigeria COVID-19 Incidence and Response Tracker and Dashboard, which reveals the resource requirements across all 36 states in Nigeria and the FCT, that's Abuja. Joining me to discuss this is Ofovwe Aig-Imoukuede, the Director, Africa Initiative for Governance. Glad to have you join us for this conversation on Parliament West Africa. Shall we start first by having you talk us through the objectives behind this collaboration that we see the AIG and the NESG and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 embark on?
Thank you very much, Christy. It's a pleasure to be with you today. So this dashboard is basically created to highlight the resource requirements for the fight against COVID-19 across the 36 states of Nigeria. What it does is indicate the amount of equipment that is needed, for example, hospital beds, ambulances, lab equipment, and so forth. It also shows what each state has available at any point in time, and then indicates the variance. So this basically allows the government, donors, the development agencies to see exactly what is required and where. We believe that this will be a great contributor to the fight against the pandemic because it will allow resources to be directed exactly where they are needed. It will also enhance transparency and accountability so that the general public can see exactly what the government is doing in the fight against COVID-19.
Obviously, but I'm curious about the nature of this collaboration that we have. It is, of course, instructive and insightful, if not totally just exciting that we have a product of this nature now looking to help Nigeria converge and harmonize data needed to fight COVID-19. Obviously, the pandemic has got organizations across the world putting on their thinking caps and bringing forth innovations. But speak to us on what drives the choice of collaboration with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 and the Nigerian Economic Summit Group.
So the Africa Initiative for Governance is basically focused on driving public sector transformation and reform. One of the things that we do is we support reform initiatives, anything that basically enhances good governance. We decided to partner with the NESG because they share the same values as us. We've actually partnered with them on a number of other initiatives in the past. They are also focused on driving public sector reform. So in this fight against COVID-19, it was important for all parties, the private sector, the public sector, everyone to come together to basically enhance the government's capacity to fight the pandemic. As you know, public-private partnerships are key to enhancing development in any country. And one of the things that we at AIG try to do is we try to partner with the government and add value wherever we see that we can. We realized that for the government to really have the ability to fight this pandemic, they needed to have information, valuable information that would allow them to direct the resources where they're required. So we have the capacity, the NESG has the skills, and we collaborated together to provide this dashboard, this platform that would enhance the PTF's capacity to fight the pandemic.
So I'd like us to take this a step further by exploring the future of the collaboration that you currently have. I'm looking at, for example, an equipment of this nature, talking about the tracker and the dashboard, will help to give information regarding issues such as under-testing, which is a major issue, isolation centers needing renovation, and then palliatives for beneficiaries, who's getting what, who's not getting what. But I'm thinking you may need to explore more collaborations beyond the NESG and the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 to be able to reach across the 36 states in Nigeria. Are you in talks already about these future collaborations?
Well, as I said to you, one of our goals is to drive public sector transformation. We already have a partnership with the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation to basically enhance the capacity to deliver the goods and services that are required for the Nigerian populace. So we stepped in to assist with the COVID-19 fight, but our focus is broader. Our focus is basically to enhance the level of governance across the country under all circumstances. So our partnership with the civil service is basically focused on developing digitization for their processes, so that, as happened during the COVID-19 pandemic, where so many civil servants had to stay at home during the lockdown, they're able to continue their work. We are also enhancing their capacity in terms of leadership. We're providing leadership programs for them, and we basically work with them to drive their reform initiatives. One of the things that we say is that everyone, the entire populace, needs to be involved with public sector transformation, because even though the private sector is the engine room of growth, the public sector is what enables the private sector to thrive. So we all need to be involved in supporting the government in pushing forward all of these reform initiatives that are already, have already been started, but just need support.
So I'm looking at issues like transparency, accountability, trust. These are major issues and will always be, as far as Nigeria's efforts in all areas are concerned. To what extent will this dashboard and tracker help to answer to issues such as these?
The truth is that, as I said earlier, transparency and accountability are at the center of good governance. And the people need to see what the government is doing to be able to hold them accountable. Information is key. And this dashboard will provide the information to the public so that they can see exactly what resources are being directed where, and they can hold their governments accountable. So if X number of hospital beds or X number of isolation centers are required, and the dashboard indicates that provisions have been made for that, then the people can actually see if these things are being implemented. It's important for transparency and accountability that information is made available. And that's one thing that this dashboard is going to provide. I hope that the Nigerian populace will take advantage, go on the website, click on it, and have a look at what is being provided by the government and the development agencies in their localities.